Our story for all ages this morning is called The Rabbit Listened by Corey Dorfeld. One day, Taylor decided to build something new, something special, something amazing. Taylor was so proud. But then, out of nowhere, whoosh! Things came crashing down. The chicken was the first to notice.
Cluck, cluck. What a shame. I'm so sorry it happened. Let's talk about it. Cluck, cluck.
But Taylor didn't feel like talking, so the chicken left. Next came the bear, and this time the bear will use a microphone.
How horrible! I bet you feel so angry. Let's shout about it.
But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left. The elephant knew just what to do.
Trumpta, I can fix this. We just need to remember exactly the way things were.
But Taylor didn't feel like remembering, so the elephant left. One by one they came. The hyena,
Let's laugh about it.
and the ostrich.
No. Let's hide and pretend it didn't happen.
And the kangaroo.
What a mess. Let's throw it all away.
And the snake.
Let's go knock down someone else's.
But Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody. Together, they sat in silence until Taylor said, oh wait, I skipped a thing. In the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice the rabbit, but it moved closer and closer until Taylor could feel its warm body. Together, they sat in silence until Taylor said,
Please stay with me.
the rabbit listened. The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. The rabbit listened as Taylor remembered and laughed. The rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide, to throw everything away, to ruin things for someone else. Through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plan to build again.
I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
And that is the end of our story.
So as we continue to explore deep listening, I found a resource of Carolyn Stieber. She wrote an article in bustle.com. It's titled, Experts Say These 11 Hacks Can Help You Be a Better Listener in Just 3 Days. As we prepare to break out into groups of 3 to experience listening, I want to share those 11 tips with you, which you might find helpful in listening to others. The first tip is to notice when you're interrupting and consider saying, I'm sorry, I just interrupted you. Do one thing at a time Try not to multitask while you're listening. Wait to formulate your ideas. Focus on what's being said. A pause while you formulate your response after the other has finished speaking, it's okay. There can be silence. Look them in the eye if it's culturally appropriate. It can send the message, I'm paying attention to you. Reflect on what is being said. Take a moment before you respond. Summarize what you heard before you start adding your own thoughts. Don't make assumptions. It can shut you down. It can shut the listening down by jumping to conclusions. Don't jump to solutions. Our story of the rabbit listening illustrates that very well. Make it all about them. Put yourself in their shoes. Have empathy rather than letting your words prompt a story to continue. Hold off on questions. You can always ask them later. And consider the 80-20 rule. If you're contributing more than 20% of the conversation, step back, listen more. For the 11th tip is to revel in the positive side effects.
During the service, after Kevin's reflection, which you just heard, we divided into small groups for some listening practice. When we came back together, there was time for a few reflections. I am making this part of the video after the fact so that we can highlight a few of the things that people shared. People noted that it just felt good to know that someone was really listening, and they could feel the care from those listening to them. One person described feeling like they didn't have to rush to be sure that they could say all they wanted. The people listening were relaxed and waiting until the speaker finished. When listening, people were able to notice if they had an urge to jump in with an answer or a solution. A good listening skill is to stay focused on what the person is saying and resist the urge to jump in with some sort of advice. People found it easy enough to sustain focus in a small group and the limited time of our exercise, but thought it might be harder to stay focused in a larger group or for a longer time. It's good to have that self-awareness of the kinds of situations or distractions that might make it harder for you to be a good listener. The list of good listening tips included looking people in the eye when you are looking at them. But someone pointed out that people with hearing loss may need to focus on the speaker's mouth in order to capture all that is being said. So we are reminded that even with a list of tips and tricks, good listening needs to be personalized to the people involved. In his book, Say What You Mean, Oren J. Sofer writes, "When we come from curiosity and care, we are willing and able to listen. We are opening a conduit that allows connection and understanding to happen."